Greetings everyone, peace to you all. Today we're going to do another praiseworthy review, where we go through video games to see if they are excellent and commendable. Today we'll be reviewing Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered, a PC port and remaster of the 2018 Marvel's Spider-Man. As usual, we'll be evaluating the game based on 5 criteria: fun factor, educational value, cultural value, spiritual value, and cost. So without further ado, let's jump in. The gameplay of this iteration of Spider-Man contains a variety of activities, including stealth missions, mini-games, investigation sequences, quick-time events, and of course, combat. Combat is obviously the core of the game and is very excellent. Melee combos and the flow of fighting are very reminiscent of Rocksteady's Arkham series featuring Batman. Spider-Man feels smart and agile, and the almost supernatural level dodges Spider-Man performs fits perfectly with Spider-Man's spider sense. Different gadgets, suit powers, and finishers allow the player to mix things up, and clever use of the environment makes fighting seem very immersive. Combat and side missions often assign the player bonus objectives, challenge the player to defeat enemies in different ways. Other side missions may be focused on locating people in the city, web swinging accuracy, or even chasing down pigeons. Speaking of web swinging, traversal feels great. And even for someone afraid of heights like me, Spider-Man soaring through the air doesn't evoke a sense of vertigo so much as a sense of freedom of movement. Stealth missions featuring some of Peter's friends sometimes feel suspenseful, but they get old quickly. They aren't horrible, but there does feel like there are a few too many of these. Puzzles are not too difficult and are more thematic than actually scientific, but they don't overstay their welcome. Investigation sequences are kind of glorified info dumps, but they are immersive and generally aid the narrative. Overall, I'm going to give Spider-Man 5 out of 5 stars for gameplay because personally, this is the most fun I have ever had playing an action-adventure game, even including the Arkham series. For a game filled with scientific geniuses like Peter, Otto, and Osborn, the game feels like it could have spent a little more time on the science behind some of the key aspects of the narrative, such as neural interfaces, chemicals, or even specific diseases that some of the characters have. Still, one thing that the game definitely educated me in was a lot of the landmarks of New York. Many of the landmarks in the game are real locations in New York, albeit smaller. Being someone who has only been in New York City once, seeing many of the landmarks represented in the game was quite helpful. The game itself was not particularly challenging, even though it offers a lot of optional objectives. The game does not attempt to force players to learn specific attack patterns, platforming techniques, or fighting styles, so it's not particularly demanding in terms of motor skills. Overall, I'm going to award the game 3 stars for educational value, primarily for learning about New York. Insomniac's Spider-Man game is one of the most gorgeous cinematic games I have played in my life. The music is serviceable and does a good job of creating ambiance without particularly standing out. Voice acting is excellent.
Now that you quit smoking, what do you tell people when you come up here?
That I need a break from their...
The directing and cinematography of the game are of such high quality, it feels as if you are experiencing a Spider-Man movie, possibly one of the best ones. The narrative does a good job throwing the player into the story in media res. No origin story is given, and after countless movies, none is really needed. It's quite refreshing to play a Spider-Man that is already very experienced. It's also refreshing to have a narrative where Peter is a mature adult that has to deal with the repercussions of being Spider-Man in his everyday life, rather than the high school settings in recent adaptations. According to Insomniac itself, their Marvel's Spider-Man series, consisting of the original 2018 game and the Miles Morales sequel, had sold over 33 million copies by May of 2022, making it one of the best-selling superhero games of all time. It has gone on to have this PC port and remaster, a spin-off sequel, Miles Morales, and the true sequel in 2023, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Insomniac's success is likely to continue, and rumors of games based on other Marvel IP are abound, making it likely that this game may be more culturally impactful than perhaps even any of the Spider-Man movies. Overall, I'm going to assign Marvel Spider-Man Remastered 5 stars for its cultural value. Even though it is a game primarily focused on combat, Spider-Man is, in my opinion, a relatively clean game in terms of violence. There's not a lot of blood other than in key cinematic sequences, and it is obvious from Spider-Man's webbing, punching, and quips that he's actively trying to apprehend the bad guys in a non-lethal manner. There's nothing sexual, and the romantic relationship between Peter and MJ is generally chaste. On the positive end, Christianity is represented as a part of normal culture, which is a nice surprise. There are many churches and cathedrals throughout the game, and many of the characters reference God in casual ways, suggesting their belief, or at least their habit.
Don't worry. It's part of God's plan.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, thank God.
Regarding the meaning of the story, I think there are many positive biblical themes that enhance the story. For more detail on what those themes may be, see my biblical themes video on this game. Overall, I'm going to give Marvel Spider-Man Remastered 5 stars for its spiritual value for its Christian content and messages. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered generally does well in the time category, but probably less well in terms of money. For the time rich, there are many open world sandbox things to do and collect, although how much these tasks are enjoyable will depend on the player. For the time poor, however, the main story can be completed in approximately 20 hours and probably closer to 30 with doing additional content, so I think it provides a good balance of giving you the main story in a reasonable amount of time while providing additional content for those who want to enjoy swinging around New York a little longer. The so-called retail price is quite high for AAA games like this one. Marvel Spider-Man for PS4 launched at $59.99 USD, and the PC remaster launched at the same price 4 years later. I was able to purchase this on sale for about 40% off. Overall, based on the content value, narrative accessibility, and asking price, I'm going to give Spider-Man 4 stars for cost, primarily for its tough MSRP. Marvel Spider-Man, in the version I reviewed, Spider-Man Remastered, is one of the most engaging and positive action-adventure video games I have ever played. Running around role-playing as Spider-Man has never been more entertaining, and the story contains many positive elements in terms of content and message.
Amen.
Also, you might learn something about science in New York. Despite being a game with a high price tag, I think Insomniac's Spider-Man series is a worthwhile experience and will likely be iconic in the years to come. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered was a truly enjoyable and uplifting experience. Based on the criteria discussed in the video, I subjectively assigned Marvel Spider-Man Remastered the rating of priority purchase. That's all I have for you in this video. Bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If this video blessed you in some way, please consider watching some of my other videos, subscribing, or sharing with me some of your thoughts in the comments below.